Welcome everybody back to Spinner Rack. I'm here with my boy Petey, back in the house. Scream it out, Petey.
Back in the house. Come on, I'm here.
So today we're going to be talking about what the hell is Marvel doing?
Marvel released stuff, and then they released more stuff like
She-Hulk, Ms. Marvel, Moon Knight.
And they talked about the Fantastic Four. Did not talk about the X-Men.
Yeah, they didn't talk about the X-Men, did they?
Because they torched it.
Look, we're not even going to go there at the moment.
Yes, we are. We are.
Let's start with the first one. So, Marvel's Phase 4, what is missing? Black Panther.
Black Panther is
X-Men.
in 2022.
That's what they're saying.
It. It's going to be released in February 31st, 2022.
February?
Yeah.
What the
like
hell
almost like never, because it's going to take forever for these guys to get back into these roles. Like, what are we waiting for?
Why
Push
so
all this
long?
Stuff. Yeah.
Why so long? I don't understand.
February 31st.
Look, the number one, the big thing on Phase 4 slate is the Eternals. That seems to be the thing that everybody's talking about.
It's so ridiculous because the big thing needs to be the Black Panther.
And the X-Men. You know, but hey, you guys want to go through these old stories. I guess these characters, they want to bring them up. So be it. They want to help explain. And I think the whole thing with the Eternals, they want to help develop the whole thing with the what mutants are, where they came from, how they showed up.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, just merge the world.
The mutants, you can't decide. How are you going to explain mutants with Eternals? Because they're not connected.
Well,
Mutants are way after the Eternals came around. The Eternals, when Jack Kirby did the Eternals, he explained the initial sense of humanity, saying that there was humans, there were the deviants, and then there were the Eternals. The Eternals are total control of their bodies. Humans live to a certain age and die, and then the deviants are, they're the offshoots, and it could be the monsters that we've heard through all of the past, all of the things of legend, could possibly be these deviants, which also some of them show is Crow, who looks like a devil, as a shapeshifter, so he could have, he's more of an anti-hero when he appeared. The mutants don't connect to them because the mutants connect to the 60s. So you can't go in the past and say, well, there were mutants, all this, that, and the other. The mutants are connected to the fact that we got into all this radiation, that people worked with radiation, they procreated, and this would bleed into them having this mutant power, this extra power. That's it. Okay. Xavier is this. That's why they call children of the atom. They're of the atom age.
The X. So look, we understand that.
You don't understand that you're gonna go right back to the Eternals.
Yes, so we understand that, but you know what? That was out with the baby water. Is that what they say? Throw the bath water, but not the baby.
You don't throw the bath water. The concept is
you keep the baby, but you don't throw out the bath.
The baby is the children of the atom.
You keep the baby. The point I'm trying to say is, my friend, is that, dude, you got to roll with the punches. It's being retconned, it's being changed, and Feige, the impresario of all of Marvelverse MCU stuff, is making this call. So that's what they're saying is rocking. This is what we're going to rock with it, okay?
You know how crazy it is online that people are saying that Sony caused the problem because they.
Well, we're not discussing that at the moment.
I'm going to talk about it right now.
Oh my gosh, you're all over the place.
All right, I want to talk about your god Feige, who decided that Spider-Man, he said in an interview, was the most important hero of our time, and he was trying to do that, making him Iron Man Jr. And regretfully, I didn't come up with this. Forbes magazine, they got it right. They said that Spider-Man, the Spider-Man Homecoming was Iron Man's apprentice, and also the Hollywood Reporter.
They changed it up, bro.
They
changed it up, bro.
They're pointing out why are we siding with the big, this they have too much stuff going on, and all they did was slap a whole bunch of bumper stickers of Iron Man in the Far From Home movie. Like, how many things connected to Iron Man you're gonna do to say that you fixed Spider-Man?
Look.
Sorry, that's the.
Look. All
right, let's go. Let's go to
you want to cut me down. You want to cut me down. You don't want to hear what I'm going to say. No. You know what I'm trying to say?
You want to go back and forth about this?
We don't want to go back and forth. All I'm just saying.
It sounds like we're going to go back and forth.
But you get to say what you got to say, and I can't say what I got to say?
No, I'm sorry. I said say what you have to say.
But you know what? I'm the taller man, so I'll let it rock. Okay? I let it rock. So let's get back to this again. The stuff that they're doing here.
Moon Knight sounds good. She-Hulk sounds okay. Not sure what they're gonna do. And Ms. Marvel.
She-Hulk has never been one of the most popular comic books.
Yes, it was. It was a top 10 book until
a very short window of time. A very short window of time. Okay,
but
a very short window of time.
Yes,
that's what I'm trying to say.
But it was, but there was by editorial where they decided to, get rid of the talent that sort of developed the second She-Hulk.
So who is She-Hulk? Who is She-Hulk?
She was basically
Bruce Banner's cousin, who got his
basically blood. In Marvel wanted to secure the name because they didn't want anyone else coming out with anything close to. They would probably sue anyway if you came with a She-Hulk
or Ms. Hulk
or anything like that. So Marvel came up with a female Hulk, so they would have it on there. They basically Stan Lee and John Buscema. They created Jen Walters, who was Bruce Banner's cousin. Basically, she's a lawyer. She's a prosecutor, and she basically prosecutes these bad people. They try to kill her, and they almost do. But Bruce Banner's there, and the issue actually is an important part because every time Bruce Banner shows up, he usually turns into the Hulk. In this story, he comes in. There's no one else to save her. He, as a Renaissance man, he knows how to give a blood transfusion.
Scientist.
He hooks it up, and he basically gives her a transfusion. He saves her life, but the side effect is she becomes the Savage She-Hulk. Now she has a
savage. I wouldn't say the savage.
She was a savage. She was savage.
Because he has control of her.
No,
power.
At that point, when she was first initial, she basically was a savage. She was basically like a monster. She wasn't as I guess you could say, as dumb as the regular Incredible Hulk, as the Hulk Smash Hulk. But what's wrong with saying that?
I'm just laughing. Nothing.
But he, basically.
Now we're gonna get 1,000 Hulk fans sending us hate mail.
What is the fact that he's lower? He's basically childlike. You want me to say that? He's childlike. The Hulk is childlike.
It doesn't matter.
She-Hulk is savage, so they made her a little bit different. She isn't like she's close to it, but she basically would, because at a different point, she'd be in the car with Zapper, and she'd break something, and she would ride in the car with them. And slowly they fix her, where she, in the original series, where she's not savage anymore. She's just a little more aggressive as the She-Hulk. And she goes out and she goes sunning. Now online, for some reason, everyone flips out when you see the She-Hulk sunning, going out and getting some sun. Doesn't mean that she's going out to necessarily tan. She's sitting out in the sun, right? And everyone's like, how is someone writing her going, like, she's a California girl. She likes to sit out in the sun. Who cares? It's like,
I know, who cares? It
doesn't make any sense. But there's so many people out there, nitpickers. But anyway, so basically that series, died out, and then she became an Avenger, and I think Jim Shooter wrote her for a little while. Actually, sorry.
But she keeps coming back, right? And she keeps coming back. But
no, she came. She had a long standing in the late '80s. She what?
I'm not fine.
Okay, sorry. Basically, in the late '80s, she joined the Avengers. She got some spotlight there.
Right.
John Byrne being a fan of what he saw of her in the in the Avengers.
Do we have to have John Byrne name in every single segment?
You don't remember what our show was like in the past when we first started, where we had someone who had a moniker that he put after John Byrne, which I have not used yet. So, anyway.
Oh my God.
You remember it. Now he had a little flashback. He didn't really say that. He said that more to me, the shutdown. But anyway, John Byrne brought her into the Fantastic Four.
He continues.
And then she was popular enough where they had her in a graphic novel, which was the Sensational She-Hulk. Sorry, my S's, I have some issue with them. And later, John Byrne, when he was in the late '80s, deciding that he was going to work on some books for Marvel, did he pitch? No, they asked him to do a She-Hulk book.
Okay.
He said, and he was like, yeah, that sounds like fun. He said, well, what's going to make it different, though? So John Byrne said, it's going to be like the George Burns show. She's going to talk to the audience. She knows she's in a comic book. She's going to break the fourth wall. Okay. So basically at that time, no one had seen that outside of, what's that show?
Deadpool?
No, not Deadpool. Way before Deadpool. But no one had seen anything like that except for Moonlighting, where David Addison would talk to the screen and break the fourth wall. So they're like, oh, he's copying Moonlighting, when George Burns done it years before. The whole say goodnight, Gracie. Goodnight, Gracie. What? What did you say?
I said, and Walk on Water too.
Oh my God. So basically, this was a success. It was one of the top 10 comics for the first 4 issues. And then regretfully, there was some editorial thing between Byrne and the editorialship, and they regretfully canned Byrne, and the title tanked. Byrne came back. He'd had a longer run, almost what is it? Maybe it was over a year or so that he was on the book, and basically he had moved on. But he had a good, how many issues is that? That might be, say, that's 20. Maybe it's like almost 20, 22, like 28 issues.
Okay.
It's a total. So he basically had a run. That series died out after issue 60. Then she would appear at different points, and then I think Dan Slott did a couple of miniseries, and I think they might be, because Dan Slott basically did a couple when they restarted She-Hulk a number of times. So
what's the difference? Let's get to this. What's the difference in powers between her and the Hulk?
At one point, she really wasn't that powerful. I think basically they were making her really the girl Hulk. I'm not even sure she was stronger than Spider-Man.
Wow.
Because she...
But not now. Now that's a totally different story. She is...
Well, while Byrne was doing her, saying that she has the potential to, become stronger because she's like the Hulk.
Right.
So she basically was a little under the Thing when that ended, but basically they haven't really figured out that her hide is as strong as the Hulk, because at some points they've had Spider-Man punch her at the later stage and she go flying away, and it's just like, now wait a second, like he can't really do that to the Hulk, so he shouldn't be able to do that to the She-Hulk. It's just the girl effect.
Right, but if anybody unawares, you could probably still...
No, he can't. Spider-Man can't do it. Like, Spider-Man hurt his hand on the Hulk when he first punched him. If the She-Hulk has a hide, not because she's a girl, the skin... Well, yes, your athletic ability is different. The skin, the fact that the Hulk's skin is impenetrable, would mean that she'd be hurt more because she's a girl. That portion makes no sense.
Yeah, that makes no sense. I'm with PD on that one.
So there's a girl...
I don't want to say it, but that's downright sexist.
Oh my God, here we go. But the girl effect to her is what sort of make people forget. Now, Byrne really hadn't decided to do versus battle with her. He basically said she was stronger, so she would basically be up to where the Thing was. They don't have a Thing She-Hulk fight, which is great. That doesn't happen until he's off the book. And, she's just basically, she's basically that personality that Roger Stern and Byrne sort of went to, that she's smart. She's sort of knows she's, she's like a 7 foot, goddess. And she sort of plays with it like Raquel Welch, that sort of thing.
Interesting. But the question is do you think the show is going to be successful?
It will if you decide that there's many angles you can take it. You can do, the first part is casting. And the hard thing is that they're immediately throwing, one of my favorite, Rosario Dawson, as the person. But
why Rosario Dawson?
I don't know why. But basically she's a strong woman. But basically,
have they chosen her for it?
No, they haven't. They haven't figured out who she's going to be yet. But what was it? Oh man, I just found the model that he based on, because originally there's a couple people that he based on.
Raquel Welch?
Just and I'm going to say something that he hadn't said. If you look at Leslie Easterbrook, that's sort of the first. She was Callahan in the Police Academy.
Okay.
There's a couple shots where they look almost exactly alike. Then when she joins the Fantastic Four, she has sort of a face like Valerie Bertinelli.
Mm-hmm. And
then later there's a Playboy model, which I'm pretty sure I'll find at home. She is sort of Byrne actually had sort of contact with her, like via either mail or message, or one of those message things that were going on in the 90s via computer. And basically, this model was sort of the basis, not total basis, because it doesn't look exactly like her, but it was the basic of the body and form. And basically, Byrne's She-Hulk is very feminine, and sometimes she gets most muscular when she fights, but she doesn't get like too much like female bodybuilder.
So, are there any stories that you think that stand out to you for She-Hulk that probably they should go over?
Wow, you putting this on me?
Yeah, because clearly it can only be you watching it.
Well, in my mind, I think they should have fun on their own. I think that the setup that Byrne had is a little more stable than the Zapper and the Savage She-Hulk, where it had her boyfriend and had her father, which was a J. Jonah Jameson. He kind of hated She-Hulk.
Right.
Now, in the Byrne comic, the She-Hulk's father shows up in there, and he's still on the fence about She-Hulk, which is good. So if you use the Byrne framework, she has an Ethel to the She-Hulk's Lucy. Mm-hmm. So you have you have that aspect, whereas I think her name is I forget her last name, but basically the character was a blonde Phantom, but she's a lot older now, so she becomes She-Hulk's right hand. She's her buddy in the show. So you have that. You have Blake Tower, who will probably be different now, not a black guy. Who knows what they'll be in this new Marvel Studios thing. So
none of these stories seem to jump out at me as I'm very familiar.
I'm talking about the supporting cast.
No, but I'm talking about the story. I said, is there any particular story in that line that she had that was pretty interesting? That was pretty.
There's a bunch of them, but the thing
I'm talking about one.
One.
Just tell me one that jumps out at you.
I would say all of them do, but I think the hard part is that you wouldn't necessarily do the fun of her versus the Headman. The next story, which was after that, was her actually breaking through the comic book, which would actually be something that you could be fun to do visually. And then the big storyline that Byrne did, of course, is basically it's running through the more obscure parts of the Marvel Universe. And that's
so then that basically opens it up to do whatever they want.
Yeah,
because you're not tied with all the stories.
Well,
we know what basically Feige believes in.
Well, I don't want to go up to. That's what I'm saying. If you use the framework of having the court system, having them She-Hulk being be either a district attorney or assistant DA,
right,
and have her have a best friend, have Blake Tower. You have a setup where you don't do Daredevil, you don't go dark, where you don't basically lose the job. Basically, she can do the job, but at the same time, she had struggles, I think. But at the same time, he had some wacky stuff. At the one court case that they had her deal with, where she doesn't have any evidence on the guy. A person who comes to help her is this guy who basically has an alias, but he's actually Santa Claus. And Santa Claus said, well, why should I trust you? He said, well, I know who's naughty and who's nice. We got one. So basically they go out.
So if they see that, we'll see what. I've seen that Lifetime movie before.
No, but I think that's the tone you can do, because they do. I mean, they've done. If you watch The Con that was on Lifetime, they had Rebecca De Mornay, who's in a lot of Marvel stuff, right? And had William Macy. That was one of my favorite Lifetime movies because she basically comes to a podunk town and she's hiding. And basically William Macy is the person who falls in love with her, despite her flaws and despite her past. So there's always stuff that you can do on Lifetime. You can always point out some good stuff on Lifetime. So I'm not too far against it, but then if you can get, I don't think Titania like that as a villain would be. I think you try to sort of pull out some of the fun stuff. The biggest story that you could do is her and the US-1 characters, which was actually these truckers, and they actually go to space. And John Byrne took this thing that was very obscure, and he made it the most cosmic story of that period of his thing, where they go into space. She's with these cosmic truckers. They're with Xemenu the Titan, who's
it's not going to happen
because the budget would be too high.
Is Guardians.